Musketeer Coaches Show is right here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS. It's at Bob Rose Point after. Obviously, great wings, pizza, and everything in between. We're going to talk Musketeer hockey, about 2 wins over the weekend. 1 game this coming week. Of course, Saturday was a special night with military night and everything in between. Ryan Durocher is with us. He is assistant coach for the Musketeers. We're also going to have assistant captain and Matt Miller. And before we get to hockey puck, how was pizza good?
Pizza was great.
How many slices did you get in before? Because every time we do the show, it's like, oh, yeah, order. And it comes out right before you're supposed to go on.
I'll be honest with you. I got 2 in, and I think Millsy's going to help finish up the rest of it while I'm over here. So
yeah, I think he's putting it in his back pocket right now.
Yeah,
he's taking it somewhere.
For sure.
Show also brought to you by Knife River, another sponsor of the Musketeer Coaches Show. Let's talk some hockey puck. Ryan, we go all the way back to Friday before we get to the awesome event on Saturday. 5-3 victory over Cedar Rapids. That was a convincing win going into the third period. Then it got a little nerve-wracking again. How tough is it? What was it? 2 very good periods?
Yeah, I would say, those are 2 of the better periods that I've seen us play. I believe we were going into that period at 5-1.
Yeah.
And, there was a little lapse in our play there. And
was it lapse on your play, or, honestly, the other team has to be unabandoned, too?
Yeah, I think they came out hard, and obviously that was their final push to start that third period. And I do think that maybe we came out a little, maybe that the game was over for a sec there, but, the resilience that we showed to kind of bounce back and make sure that we finished that one was good for the club. So
I really think the last 5 minutes you got back to your balance.
For sure. Yeah, I thought through the last 5 there, we kind of went back to how we played through the first 40. So that's.
Ryan, explain what's been the success. Because, you guys, when you're playing well, and I think of that game at Fargo as another just solid hockey game, it seems like you're playing in all 3 facets, B zone, neutral zone, forward zone. As fans, we look, you scored 5 goals on Friday, but you're never in that zone unless you play the other ones.
Exactly, and I think that's the biggest thing. When we're playing our best hockey, we're playing north. We quick up pucks. Our D are on pucks quick. They hit the guys in the neutral zone, and we're able to play with speed, which I think is a big part of our game. So when we're doing that, I think we're tough to contain. We push teams back, and then we're able to play more in the offensive zone than we are in our zone.
About your forwards coming back, and I think they're really kind of getting into coming back to take pucks back.
No, absolutely. I think, that's been an area that we've continued to try and work on over the last few weeks. And, Friday was, I think, a pretty good example of how we did buy into that, and it turned into goals for us. So, we're going to continue to try and work on those things and create habits there.
We look at this team right now, and right now it's tied for first in the league in Martin Pospisil and Bobby Brink. We can talk about their scoring, and we should. Mm-hmm. But how about the added scoring? Kevin Lombardi, 2 goals in 2 games, especially against his old mates. When you see other lines, because I think everyone thinks, well, yeah, Sioux City's a top-heavy team. Not so fast.
Yeah, I think we're actually at our best when we've got all 4 lines clicking. Every team
5 different goal scorers on Friday.
Exactly, and that, maybe at times this year we haven't had, we have been maybe a little more reliant on that top line. How can't you be when they're producing the way they are? But, it was great to see, all 4 lines contribute in that win. Lombo obviously having 2 goals over the weekend, and it's great to see him and his 2 line mates there have success. Obviously, William had a pretty nice goal as well this weekend. So when your 4th line can score 3 goals for you in 2 games, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and I look at it, it seems like, and this is the tough thing for opponents, every one of your lines are different type or different style, different points of emphasis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think that's kind of what makes us a bit special up front is, there's a lot of different areas that we can attack from. Obviously, that top line can do a lot of different things, but then you'll have a chance here to talk with Millsy a little bit about it, but their line can, obviously be a shutdown line against that other team's top unit, but they're also, counted on to score goals. And, again, that's a big part of what I think's made us successful. You have a line that can do both of those things, and then you've got a pretty dang good third line as well that can also produce. So, and then as we saw this weekend, the fourth line can make plays too. That line's got two pretty good sized bodies on it and some good skating as well. So it is a pretty good mix for us up front.
Well, you guys get the win, 5 different goal scorers in the game, and taking care of business in a lot of different areas. I know you gave up a power play goal in the third, but penalty kills. But I think you've given up a couple power play goals, but it's still solid. Your power play seems like it's really clicking right now.
Yeah, I think. We talked about it a little bit as a staff. I think the kill is where we want it to be. The improvements from preseason, through 15 games have been kind of spot on for what we've wanted. It was a little bit different penalty kill than maybe some of the guys had seen in the past, and I guess they're coming around with that. It's been mass improvement for us, and sometimes you can do great things in your zone on the PK, and the puck still ends up in the back of the net. So it's kind of just continuing to build on the efforts that we have had there, and I think good things will happen with that side of things.
Brian Durocher, assistant coach with the Sioux City Musketeers. Musketeers in action coming up on Friday only at Des Moines. Big matchup, obviously, to talk about. But on Saturday, penalty kill, you only had to kill one, you got a shorty, and the power play 1 for 3. This was, I kind of explained, it was a hard-fought game, and it looked very difficult to play against Lincoln during that contest. It didn't seem like you had a hard time getting things rolling. What was that?
Yeah, I think they were coming off a pretty big win the night before in Sioux Falls. I think they won 2-1 with about a minute left, or on the power play, in fact. And they came in with a lot of confidence. And I think, it wasn't as much as what we did as much as what I thought they brought a pretty good effort themselves.
It was like your team was out of sync because of a lot of stick pressure, a lot of pressure for 200 feet.
For sure. And they have that top line's pretty good too, and they can kind of force you to do things that maybe you wouldn't do. Those 3 guys are putting up points, and overall, obviously it wasn't one of our best periods, but we kind of just stayed with it and stuck with it throughout the game, and then got back to the way that we had played the night before.
Well, you needed a little jump start, and you get Lombardi to tie it up, and I tell you what, if Kevin is skating at me and I'm a goalie, he's going to score a lot of goals because I might just duck out of the way. He's a big guy.
For sure. And I think, for him, when he's playing that way, when he goes and he's moving his feet and he's a handful going to the net. And
you're going, this guy's not going to stop, is he?
Yeah, he's a big boy, and when he drives to the back post, not too many people want to get involved with that, I don't think.
That's like a catcher taking the guy coming home.
For sure.
And so you tie it up there, and then you're feeling good because I think you were getting them off their game. But and then it's the this fella named Bobby Brink. You discussed that is he planning on getting a hat trick like just once a week?
Yeah, I think we discussed every 2 he'd
every
other weekend he'd put 3 in for us in the game. So
amazing to start things off, because that was a tough shorthanded goal to get too, because he only had that little space down there when he got down the ice.
Yeah, and it was a great play obviously on his part, and it's interesting how once he kind of gets one or gets going a little bit there, they kind of seem to follow him around after that. So he was great for us, and he was good in the game, but he was outstanding in that third period.
And it was nice because he had to pair up because Pospisil was on the penalty. So Steinmetz comes up. He's played with Bobby at line, and that's another one. He doesn't have all the points in the world. He's got 4 assists, but George's played terrific hockey.
He has. Doesn't get a ton of the publicity, but he's a 200-foot guy. great hockey IQ. You know, he's willing to block shots. He's good in all 3 zones. I mean, he just, you know, he is a little bit of a throwback player in my opinion. Like as a smaller guy, he's a gritty guy too, and he does have like a underrated offensive side. You know, the goal he scored last, I guess the Friday night goal, short side, and then to be able to make that play on the kill to Bobby, knocking the puck down and then springing him for that breakaway is, I mean, just kind of shows the way he thinks the game.
Well, Brinker comes away with another one on the power play, and we already talked about that, the way it was clicking on the power play, and then they get one back. Now, my understanding, okay, this is where I'm confused a little bit here. Okay, so if anyone was at the game, a puck was thrown at the net of the Musketeer net. 2 sticks were in the air. It went off one of the sticks. Otherwise, it does not make that bend down into the back of the net. So the question mark was, hey, was it played with a high stick? Okay. And the official goes in and checks the video. It was deflected off a stick. His question mark is this. He couldn't tell if it was a Musketeer stick or not, and they called goal right away. Okay, I understand that. But the guy who had his stick up in the air is the guy who just got credit for the goal. So if you're giving credit to Slavin for the goal, then you're admitting that he deflected the puck, which would be a high stick, and it should be waved off. So that's my question. How does he get credit when they say he didn't touch the puck?
Curtis, that's a mystery. That's a great question. I don't know if I'm the one that can answer that one for you, but I can point you in the right direction of someone that might be able to.
I'm just saying, okay, so if you're with me on this, okay, the guy throws it, guy throwing the puck to the net should be getting the goal, correct?
Exactly.
But they gave credit to the guy with his stick straight up in the air. So they're saying if he touched the puck last, that means it was a high stick and it should have been waved up. I know it was a tough call, but Slavin shouldn't be getting the goal if that's their call.
Yeah. Long story short, I think there was a mass confusion on that given play.
On how it transpired.
Yeah.
But there was 2 sticks up in the air, and it's a difficult call, but I still give credit to the guy who threw it, whether it was Ashbrook or the Carlisle kid or whoever. It was just a lob, basically.
It was. And our goalie's glove was about 5 feet above his head. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah, there's no doubt what angle it went into the back of the net, well above. But so, anyways, they get the goal back. You end up getting an empty netter, and now does Kelly know if he taps it over to Brink does he know it's a hat trick, or was he making the play because Brink was the most open on the empty netter?
I'd like to say maybe he knew that it was for the hat trick, but I think it was the right play. I mean, he was
a little more open anyway, but
for sure. And I think that's kind of like, that's been that group. Those 3 guys are.
Sometimes you got to yell at them, go, no, you can shoot and still make the goal.
Yeah, they don't really care who gets the goal. I mean, they all usually get a point on whoever tucks it in the net last. But I mean, that's kind of how they've been all year, as you know.
Mm-hmm. This team right now is playing pretty darn good, even if they're not playing great in a period. There's something special about this team right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing that I think has gotten us through in maybe some of those situations is, the guys really have kind of bought in to what we all want to do as a group. We've had good leadership, and I think, the culture piece is huge. When you have a team that cares about each other and likes each other and wants to go out and play hard for each other, when there are some downs, I think you have those other things that you fall back on that eventually can bring you back to where you want to be. So in my opinion, that's where we've been good so far.
Obviously, it has to continue, but one more positive before we talk about military night is Jake Seibel getting the start. Just proves you got 2 goalies now.
For sure, yeah, and Jake was good early on in practice, and as you know, a couple weeks ago he had that finger injury, freak injury in practice. Where it was actually after practice. We were just real nasty. We were just doing some shooting drills, and his hand opens up in a way that probably it doesn't any other time, and he ends up catching a puck on the inside of his finger. So, that kind of pushed him back a little bit for where his first potential projected start would have been, right? And then, for him to battle through, to stay in shape through that time, and it is tough. You can't hold a stick in the net. It doesn't really help you as a goaltender.
They have 2 gloves?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the only thing you can do, because you can't. That has to be excruciating to feel a puck off that stick when it was that bad at the time.
Yeah, well, I remember the first day.
Vibrate.
For sure. The first day out, he tried that, and the vibration ended up, the stick was in the corner a couple of times. So, but
it was an awesome event all the way around. I think there was a lot of great money raised on Saturday, the uniforms, the whole week for the whole team, but nothing beats, I'm sorry, 91-year-old World War vet dropping the ceremonial puck is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was very cool.
From World War II, 91 years old, from here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, was able to walk out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't, he was in pretty dang good shape, too, I thought.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was, as you mentioned, the whole week was really cool, all the different places that we got to do. And I think, for our guys, too, it kind of, it just reminds you, we're lucky to be able to do what we do every day, and
because of these guys.
Because of these guys, exactly. I mean, it wasn't always like that, and when you see some of these vets that went off to war, and obviously, some passed away at a young age, around the age of some of our guys here. Mm-hmm. I mean, our guys, when they saw that and they heard about it, I think it is eye-opening for all of us, really.
Yeah, and it was probably an opportunity. I know you're new to Sioux City this year, and to see what's around this area and see pretty awesome things around Sioux City.
For sure, yeah. It's you spend a lot of time at the rink, so
yeah, you're at the rink, Yeah, that's your life, and to see what's actually going on out there is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of historic stuff that's gone on here that, myself and obviously the players as well that haven't had a chance to get out there and see it. It was a great week for us.
I assume Abs has been to that gun range before, though.
He might have been, but he was as excited as if he hadn't been, if you can believe that.
I can believe that. If there's some shooting guns going on, he's first in line,
for
right?
Sure. Yep, he is.
We'll take a break. We'll talk to one of your assistant captains, and Matt Miller, and then we'll come back and talk about Des Moines to finish off the show. We'll be right back. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. Musketeer Coaches Show is right here at Bob Rose Point. After, it is always good food, whether it's pizza, burgers, and wings, all that kind of fun stuff. This show is also brought to you by Knife River, fine sponsor of the Musketeer Coaches Show. Matt Miller is with me. He is an assistant captain for the Musketeers this year. And, Matt, now, do you go by assistant captain or alternative captain?
Either one works.
Which one would you say?
Assistant.
I go assistant. I know Jake over on the other side of the camera always goes alternative captain. Alternate captain. But how about just leaders?
Yeah.
Leaders of the team.
It's a good word for it.
Yeah. Right now, you were battling neck and neck with Parker Ford on your line on who has more goals. You beat him because Parker admitted that the puck didn't go off his stick from Friday night, and they gave credit to Pospisil on it. I think you got to take that and make a run for it now, because he's one behind you.
Yeah, we're not battling, though. We're on the same line, same team.
You can take an assist, too.
Exactly.
I'm just making note that I think you were both on 6 at one time, and then you were both on 7, and they officially gave it to Pospisil on that one. How is it working, you guys and Steinmetz? I know they had to use Steinmetz a little bit here and there, but all season it's kind of been you and Ford at least, and probably Jordan for most of it.
Yeah. No.
How's that work?
I love playing with those guys. I mean, they fit my play style, and all three of us together, we all mesh well. So, I mean, we do well in the defensive zone and just as good in the offensive zone. So, I mean, I'd say we're a dependable line that coach can trust. So that's always something that you want.
You guys start most games.
Yeah.
It means you're probably playing against the top line, or at least a top 2 line. What makes you 3 guys so dependable in 3 areas of the ice?
I would say the experience part of it. So we would know when to make a strong play, when to make a skilled play, when the certain point in the period is where, say, the last few minutes of the period or the start of the period, those are some of the most important times for momentum shifts in the game. So you'd really want to line out there doing their job, making sure everything goes right, and being consistent at all times.
Not taking penalties, not doing all those things. You're 6'2", what, close to 200 pounds?
190. Yeah.
190. Okay, so you're the big guy of the line.
Yeah.
But you all three kind of play like big guys that can control pucks and cycle pucks in the forward zone. What makes those guys bigger than their size on the sheet?
They're gritty. They have big hearts. They work their butts off, and I mean that's what makes us have time in the offensive zone. We're always tracking over the puck, staying over it. That helps our D out. They can stay up, and then we just try and wear down the other team, line after line after line. If everybody's doing that, then our team gets rolling.
Have you missed an empty net this year?
Yes.
Did you end up missing an empty net?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. That's because you were probably too close.
That's funny. Yeah.
I was just checking on that because I remember your 2 empty net goals are at least 150 out, right?
Yeah, probably.
But right down the middle.
Yeah. I just turned and looked and shot it, you know. Take your shot.
It's those close ones that you miss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deflect. You want to be in front of the net. I never. Well, everyone has pretty goals, but greasy, grimy goals have to be pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to get to areas where goals are scored. That's in front of the goalie's eyes. It's off to the side of the net where you can be an outlet pass for a side slot. It's driving the net hard, stopping in front. So always looking for a tip, always trying to get your shot off quick.
How many times do you get slashed in there?
Quite a few, but it's worth it.
Part of the game, right?
Yeah.
You got to have dents on your shins by the end of the night. Means you were playing well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You get a deflection goal the other night, and how much do you work? Again, speaking with Matt Miller, assistant captain with the Musketeers, a deflection goal, it just seems it takes, and if you see it, it just takes that eye-hand coordination. How do you first? What's the start of how you're going to do this?
Well, first you want to align yourself in front of the goalie and shot, kind of playing like a goaltender in front of the goalie, and then
not even to the side a little, or do you want to screen the heck out? Because you're either going to screen him or deflect the puck, right?
He doesn't know when it's coming, so then even if I can get a stick on it, it can go anywhere, and that's the best. That's what you're looking for. So coach has been on me about getting in front of that puck and screening it as long as I can, and then at last second redirecting it. So I think that one was between my legs, but if the puck is shot off to the side, you can just put your stick over there and you're trying to get it off the heel of the stick or off the shaft. So
Matt, how much do you work on it in practice, or do you guys just mess around with it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we drills in practice.
You do have drills for deflections.
Yeah, everybody will go low to high, shot, screen, tip all the time. So we'll be doing drills. Guys will be getting tips on pucks, taking away the goaltender's eyes. So if that's not enough, then after practice, obviously, we have tons of time to do skill work. So that's a good time to work on it as well.
Well, I know a lot of people, there's a lot of guys in the NHL have made a living just by scoring goals like that.
Exactly.
Just touch it for 1 second. It's your goal, baby.
They're fun to watch, too.
Yeah, and the goalies hate them.
Yeah.
Now, as you work on that, can you golf? Can you play baseball?
I can.
Are you any
not
good?
Too well, no.
I mean, it's hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, me and my dad will play golf for fun, and growing up I played baseball, but ultimately chose hockey. So,
Matt, here's a very important question for you. Did you bowl well on Sunday for the benefit?
Well, the answer is yes.
You did?
But
there's some excuses. Huh?
The bumpers were up, you know.
Oh no, you were on a bumper lane?
Yeah. So I bowled with a little fan named Emma, and her family.
You did it for her.
Yeah, Emma and Eli. So we were bowling with them.
That is a much better answer than, hey, I didn't feel I could roll it straight, so I suggested for myself the bumpers.
No, yeah, it wasn't a personal choice. It was for the fans.
Yeah. and on a cool note, it is pretty cool on those events. But obviously, you're raising money, and then you get to interact with the fans.
That's the part I love about junior hockey. I mean, we can interact with our fans. We can be out here, go on the coaches show. I mean, all these events are super fun.
Now, what did we brought in, or the team brought in, a ton of cash for those sweaters? What happened? Where did you fare? You did good, didn't you?
For the jerseys?
Yeah.
Mine did very well. So
what was do you remember the price?
I think it was $1,200.
So you went triple. You went over 1,000. There was a number that went over 1,000,
there were a few
right?
of them, but that's an awesome event. Goes towards the donations towards the military. So I mean that's
And the Midwest Honor Flight, if you haven't checked it out, is really awesome.
Yeah.
They take the vets to Washington and they fly them and all that stuff. But yeah, there was a number that got over 1,000. Pretty special. It had to be a special week for not only you but the whole entire team to see what these individuals have done for us, what they're doing, and then when you see a 91-year-old World War II vet dropping the puck at the start, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. It was awesome stuff all week. We were around town wearing our military jerseys, getting to see everything that they have to offer, and they're showing us their jobs, and that's the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, they make a sacrifice for this to be the best country, and I mean that's
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and we just play hockey, you know.
Yeah.
But you're able to.
No, yeah, it's astonishing. I mean, we're so thankful for them and everything that they do. So,
Maddie, always good talking with you. You know, every time you come out, you can have pizza or something. So, you know, make it a habit. Just show up with Luke every time.
yeah, wish I could.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I don't see why not. You know where we're at.
Yeah, this is awesome.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you.
That is Matt Miller. He is assistant captain with the Sioux City Musketeers. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Coach Durocher. We'll talk about Des Moines. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. Musketeer Coaches Show as we're wrapping things up here. And Bob Rose Point After, of course, also brought to you by Knife River. Back with me is Ryan Durocher. He's the assistant coach with the Musketeers. And the Des Moines Buccaneers are your opponents for this week. Coach, what makes them so good? And don't get me wrong, it was a hard battle. I thought you played a great game against them, and it was a nice win. Is it just that much more difficult to go down to that facility?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Obviously, as you look at the record at home, it's night and day compared to what it is on the road. So, you know, it's a smaller rink, it's a fast rink, and they capitalize on transition. So you got to play smart, you got to protect the puck and make sure that you're making the smart plays at all the lines, or you could end up on the wrong side of a score pretty quick.
Well, I look at these numbers right here. 6'3", 6'3", 6'3", 6'4". Oh yeah, 6'3", and 6'5". Those are the heights of their defensemen. How tough is it in that small rink with their size?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that was kind of something that they did this season, was try to build obviously
home ice,
a bigger back end there, and they did a good job of that. And I think, you know, obviously playing in a smaller rink, it's easier to take away that time and space. So for us, you know, we're gonna have to move pucks a lot quicker down low, whether it's, you know, low to highs or east to west, and try and you know, get those guys moving as much as we can.
You have to change your game. Have you worked on different things, or do you plan on working a different style of practice to image or try to replicate stuff that goes on there?
Well, we did practice IBP today, so that's
it's it's about the same seating.
Yeah. So, you know, it's basically just, you know, working on getting back on the breakout, making those quick ups that we talked about. Whether
quicker than, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. You almost have to get in that first 5 minutes to get it in the brain as he's D trying to move pucks.
Exactly. So we're going to have to go, you know, strong side ups and out into the neutral zone, or we're going to have to go to D and again, quick up and
chip. Yep.
A lot of chips, and I think it's one of those games where, you know, you have to chip pucks. And they have to be in safe areas, and you have to kind of play that game. And if you're trying to take chances, it's probably going to be, you know, like I said.
That neutral zone is very small, and the turnover right there is so fast to your net. Tell me about Matt Brown, and this young man seems to be one of the top players in the league.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with pre-scouts we get a chance to watch him, and having played him in preseason too, he's been an impactful guy every time that we've played him and we've seen him. So, he's scoring goals right now, and he's a good bumper for them on their power play. He's a threat to shoot. I mean, he's a quick kid. He gets up and down the ice, and he's a goal scorer. So it's obviously, trying to limit those opportunities that he has.
Their goaltenders are playing well as well. Looks like this Durney has been something special. What have you seen on him on film?
Yeah, I think the one thing I believe he's a right catch.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I don't see that very often.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's big too.
He is big.
Slovakia. He's been an NHL pick, isn't he?
Yep. And he's definitely been heard of as being one of the better goalies in this league. So we're going to have to test him. I'm pretty sure he played decent against us last time, but we just got to get pucks to the net and make sure that we're getting traffic in front of him.
Is this the goalie that likes to play the puck a lot?
He does play the puck quite a bit, yeah.
He almost gave you a few goals, I think.
Yeah, he leaves the crease for sure.
Well, in a small space, maybe can take advantage of that. How's the health of the team right now? Nothing major injury right now with the Musketeers?
Nope, no major injuries out right now. We've got...
Tommy healthier? I think he was sick, wasn't he?
Yeah, just a cold. He's getting back here. Josh Boleyn's been skating, so...
How is that? Yeah, because for people that don't know Josh, of course, he had the eye issue. He came back, but I don't think it was... I think he had more effects for that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's progressing, and like I said, he's got the cage on, and he's been playing. So hopefully, he's closer to getting back into the lineup than further at this point.
That's good to have that depth. When he comes back in, that's even better.
Yep.
Right now. So,
absolutely.
What are keys? What do you guys talk about for Friday? And you better get 2 points, right? Because you only got one opportunity.
Game. First time this year, we've only got the one. So. But at the same time, it's good we can focus on this one opponent, and having already played them, twice, and it's going to be about, like I said, keeping pucks out of those dangerous areas. Turnovers in the neutral zone aren't going to be good. We got to get pucks in, and when we're going back and we're trying to break pucks out, we got to make the right plays there. So I think if we can do that, and then capitalize on our line rushes and challenge their D to make plays there on the forecheck, I think that's kind of what we're looking to do.
Well, I tell you what, you couldn't have a better challenge in your next 2 games, because you got this one and then a Wednesday game against, that team called Waterloo.
Yep.
So the 2 teams, one tied with you, one point above you, and you got them the next 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, hopefully, our group's up for that. I think that's kind of, those are the games you look forward to when you're playing against the teams that are, you can pass in the standings with a win. And obviously both of those teams are neck and neck with us, and they're big games, and we need to come out with 2 points.
Well, perfect. I think we're up against it. Coach, thanks for coming by.
Thanks a lot, Curtis.
It's Ryan Durocher, assistant coach for the Sioux City Musketeers. We also want to thank Matt Miller for being on the coaches show as well. Coming up, just 1 game Friday now. It is going to be on the road at Des Moines Friday. And then the following week, the Thanksgiving week, it's Wednesday at home, Friday at home, and then a road game right after that. So plenty of games, 2 home games, got family in town or what have you. Be sure to come out for the week of Thanksgiving. Have a great night. Curtis Anderson with you, the Musketeer Coaches Show, Bob Rose Point after, and of course, Knife River. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. All righty.
Thanks.
Perfect.